Okay, next on the docket is the vinyl roof. This is a Crown Coupe car, and as you'll see, the vinyl roof is a little different on this one than normal stuff. It's actually a vinyl roof cap. Let me back up a little bit so you can kind of see more of it. But it's a fiberglass piece. You can see that's all fiberglass, and it's glued, screwed, and riveted on. Oh, there's a rivet I need to take out yet. Right there. How do I get to that one? I don't know. It'll be tough to get to. Anyway, for the most part, it's in pretty decent shape. Let me just set this over. Sorry about the camera there. I don't know if this will come through, but this was where the lighted band was over the top, so that's in good shape. It kind of gives me a better idea of the color. The rest of the color, it's really kind of faded, and there it's kind of streaked a little bit, you know, so it needs to be re-dyed at a minimum. And there's a couple spots that are bad, not too many though. You can see a little bit right there, the seam is starting to split. So I'm going to put some super glue, some strong super glue in there to help hold it. And then this is probably about one of the worst spots. Get in here. You can see where the vinyl itself is just shrinking, and it just feels brittle. And then this other corner has just a little bit of that. It's not too bad. And that's really about it. There's a couple spots here and there, like there's another little spot where the seam is starting to split just a little bit. So we're going to glue everything that we can and clean up the edges. And then it's odd because I'll have to glue it and rivet it on, and then when it's on the car, then re-dye it, because some of the rivets are underneath the vinyl in places. Like there's these rivets I saw underneath here. I can feel it right there. I have to peel the vinyl up and rivet it back down. There's a couple spots. I think there was something somewhere else I saw a spot like that too, but I'll dig into it more. But what I'm going to use to fix it is this right here. I've used these in the past. This is a little fancier kit than they used to have. It used to be that the color stuff was the adhesive and filler and everything all in one. This is different. If it'll focus a little bit, but there's an adhesive filler all by itself, you know, and I'll use that in the bigger, right into there. Whoops, right into there. I'll put a bunch of this in there, and it says, the instructions do say it shrinks, and after it's cured, and I think it was 4 hours it says, then you mix up the little color stuff, which is right there, which I'm not going to get too worried about matching color because it's all going to get recovered anyway, but I'll try to get, you know, green as close as I can. And then you put that on, and then you have this little heating thing you do with it. You push, you know, here's some pads of Velcro. What the hell am I saying? Vinyl grain. You know, try to match the grain as close as possible, and voila. And then I'll glue it on the car, glue, screw, and rivet it on the car, and then re-dye the whole thing. And this is just the general super glue that I'm going to use on those seams that are split. So this will be a bit of an experiment. I haven't had to do this before on something like this. Every other car that's had a vinyl roof on that I've redone, it's the traditional, it's glued right to the roof skin of the car kind of thing. So, cross my fingers and hope it works the way it's supposed to. Okay, so the first step is done. You can kind of see, it might be tough to see in there. There it is. It's kind of a clear, there's an air bubble in the back, but there was a lot of air bubble in the back. You can't even see the air bubble. Never mind. I never said anything about an air bubble. Anyway, that one and that one, very tough to see, but there's a little bit of a repair there. I think once it's in, you'll hardly see it anyway. So there's that one again. And this is the color I've already got mixed up. I think it's about as close as I can mix, and I'll show you. You know, it's a little bit off, but you know, I think it's as close as it's going to get. I've got a grain pattern here, one of these little pattern things, and you can't really see it because it's all white anyway, but the pattern is really close. Problem is, it's in this corner and I can't wrap that thing around there decent. All it does is wrinkle up. So I think I'm just going to put the vinyl repair in there, the green colored stuff, and kind of put it in there sloppy so it's not smooth like you would probably like normally try to do with this stuff. So there's a little bit of a texture to it. And I'm going to heat it up with the heat gun and let it cure. And I'll probably put a little bit in the other corner too. And I guess we'll see what it looks like. Okay, here we go. I'll show you this, if it'll hold still for me. That's in there, it's glued. It's focusing on the wrong thing. Typical of this little camera. Anyway, that's in there, it's pretty solid. You know, it's obviously the wrong color green now, but I was able to get some vinyl dye coming. I used to get all my vinyl dye from DuPont because they made really good stuff, but they got bought out by someone and they could give a rat's rear end about anything old. So they just don't have it anymore. So I went PPG. Even though I'm a diehard PPG guy, I always liked DuPont vinyl dye. It was just better. So anyway, one thing I tried to do, because I mean, I'll show you here. You can really see them. Here's a rivet. There's one. There's one. The whole edge was riveted down. About every 6 to 8 inches there was a rivet. And I wanted to see if I could peel this vinyl back so I could rivet it on again. That's not going to happen. I actually cracked it a little bit trying to peel it back in one spot. So I'm not going to be able to do that. I'll have to grind all these flush. Like this one sticks up really, really tall. So I can glue it down. And you can see where the glue was. It's primarily just there. They didn't have any glue around the bottom edges. Just in case any moisture got under there, it would actually have a way to drain out. I'll have to put little daubs here and there just to hold it down. But then also, I can flip this over here. Obviously, there's mounting holes here for the big lighted band that goes all the way across the top front. And then you can kind of see, like, this is on the back edge. There's one, if it'll focus. There we go. There's just a smidgen of one. There's a good one. So there's moldings that go all the way around this thing that help hold the edges down. And I think that's what's going to help hold most of it down. So, say I've got vinyl dye on the way. And I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to dye this before I put it on, knowing full well if I stretch it or scratch it or something, I may have to do it again while it's on the car, but I'm hoping I don't have to, because to mask this whole thing off on the car is a lot, and it's a big pain in the butt, and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to see if I can kind of do it the way they did it at the factory and just glue the thing on and go like that. So, focus. Not going to do it. God, I hate this little camera. There we go. Okay, I now have the vinyl top is all dyed or painted, however you want to describe it. Show you the one repair area. I think it turned out pretty well. It's not too noticeable. I mean, if you look for it, you'll find it, but it's not going to jump out at you. Another bad spot was right in this area. The vinyl itself was just getting old and decayed, and there's not much I could do for that. I don't know of a product that you can essentially prime and sand on vinyl roof to make it better. So colors isn't quite right. Right here you can kind of see I held it down so there's a little round circle there where a washer was. It's hard to tell in the video, really, isn't it? But the color's a little bit lighter, the new stuff. And this is a piece that I cut off of underneath. Again, it's really tough to tell in the video, but the new stuff is a little bit lighter. So considering I had a hard time finding anybody that could even mix vinyl dye that was color matched. If I had all the toners, maybe I could have tinted it just a little bit, darkened it up, made it a little more green, I guess. But as you can kind of see here, that looks fairly close in color, but it's such a small sample anyway. But so that part of it's done, ready to go, and I will be putting it onto the car. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow if I can find help, because I'm not going to try to do that by myself. Oh look, it's on. No, just kidding. This is just a test fit. Just wanted to make sure that it was going to sit decent and that I could put it on by myself. So I'm having a hard time finding anybody who can come over and help. Anyway, it's one of the joys of being a one-man shop. So, say it's hard to tell, but these holes, they actually do line up right. So that'll go on nice. There's a little pin that sticks out. Actually, it's a screw head that goes through this hole on the inside of the sheet metal. That lines up decent. And otherwise, everything else is going to go okay. The camera, for some reason, makes the car look a lot bluer than it is, and the top a lot more silver than it is. But the reality is, when I look at it with my eye, color is actually pretty decent. It's going to match pretty nice. Or not match, but it's going to go together, I should say. So, I'm doing this by, you can see the blanket on top of the roof. I'm going to flip it over, or basically rotate it clockwise. Sits on top of the blanket, I'll put the glue on, boom, I'll flip the top back over, and all will be well with the world. And here we go. Here it is. I'm declaring the vinyl roof finished. All the trim is on. I still have a little bit of touch up and a couple things to take care of, but otherwise it's all on. You know, something like this, you can see a little bit of white through there. That's there was a little bit of a weather strip that went between the vinyl molding that's here and the chrome molding. And because these vinyl pieces had shrunk, they didn't fit in the corners very well, which it didn't fit that good in the corners when they were brand new, really. And then I've got a weird spot like that, where the vinyl on the top is just shrunk to the point where it doesn't cover the gap anymore. And there's not a damn thing I can do about that. So, at least as far as the way the vinyl goes, I might put something in there to clean up that hole a little bit. But otherwise, all the trim is on. The crown coupe molding is on. I've got the lights in. Obviously, the window isn't in yet. Oops, sorry. And same thing on this side. Across the top, a little bit dusty, but otherwise it's all there. And it's on. So like I say, I'm declaring the vinyl roof done. Before I trip on something here, I'm going to turn the lights off and turn one of these lights on so you can kind of see what it does. And, alright, so hang on. Okay. Oh, actually, that's showing up pretty good in the camera right now. So this is, the light is supposed to reach almost across the top, and it really doesn't. And it doesn't show up as good in the camera. But my 77 that I had, that had the crown coupe on, granted this plastic was cracked in a couple of places, but it was way brighter. And I don't know, and I've messed with the lights to get them in the right spot, but you kind of get the effect. And it's not that the light bulb is not bright enough, because, I mean, good grief, the thing is super bright in there. But that's kind of the effect. It's cool. So in finalization, there it is. The top is done. I've got a few other things done in the meantime. I've got my taillights put in. I've got a couple other things done. And now I'm gonna work on getting some wires laid in so I can start maybe throw a little piece of interior in here and there. And we'll kind of go from there. So, yay, the top is done.